And so I know a lot of leaders will say, oh, I don't have time to do that. But then I ask them, well, how much time does it take you to hire new people, to go through recruiting, to do interviews? Wouldn't you rather invest that in the people that you already have, that are already trained, that are already doing good work? And taking that time out is so important.
Hello, and welcome to the Mind Your Leadership podcast. I'm Karen Tsuk, and today I have the honor to speak with Kelly Palmiero. Kelly is the COO of Sierra Tucson, with over 20 years of leadership experience across various industries, including fitness, medical aesthetics, and behavioral health. Through her career, Kelly has excelled in operational management, team leadership, and developing strategies to improve customer experience. She's passionate about helping others transform their lives and is dedicated to fostering strong organizational cultures that support growth and healing. So it will be really exciting to learn from Kelly's experience. So Kelly, thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, Karen. I appreciate it.
And Kelly, I want really to talk about you have such a diverse career journey, right? Across different industries before becoming CEO at Sierra Tucson. Can you tell us a little bit about what initially inspired you to pursue this journey and leadership path, and what keeps you passionate about the work you do today?
Absolutely. I feel like I do have a very diverse background. Things kind of just unfolded the way that they did. And I think there's a similarity between, everything that I have done. When I was in the fitness industry, it was really focused on helping people improve their health, which helped them improve their mental health. In medical aesthetics, we would have a lot of women that would come in with things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, where they would have a lot of facial hair. And, seeing that person on treatment 1 and then seeing them on treatment 3, it changed their life. It changed how they felt about themselves. It changed their mental health. And then moving into mental health here at Sierra Tucson, it's just continuing helping people change their lives. And so I think although it's very diverse, the common thread to all of the things I've done has been helping people.
Helping people. So as you reflect on your career and leadership journey, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned that shaped your journey and your leadership style?
Absolutely. I think I've learned a lot. I definitely didn't start out, doing well. I think that one of the things that happens often in any industry is that we take employees who are good employees at something and then promote them to management positions, but don't teach them how to actually manage. That happened to me for sure. And so it was a learning curve for me to actually learn how to manage people. And I think, being a leader in a business, there's 3 main pillars that you have to consciously look at. And that's the customers here at Sierra Tucson. Those are our patients. The business and the numbers and that aspect, because that has to go well. And then the employees. If you're not taking care of your employees, you can't expect that they're going to give good customer service. If you don't have good customer service, your numbers are going to reflect that. So really focusing on those 3 areas, I think it really makes a difference in a business.
So, you're working in the health industry, right? And there's a lot of burnout, right, in this work. How do you handle the wellness of your employees and to decrease burnout and increase well-being? And
that's a fantastic question, Karen. It really is. It's something, one of the things that you talked about in your book was engaging employees from a place of purpose. Mm-hmm. And so there's things that I try and do because, the mental health industry is not an easy industry for anyone to work in. So I try and do things that I think will make a difference to employees, because our employees here at Sierra Tucson are truly in the industry because they want to help people, but there is burnout. So I do things like we have surveys that the patients take before they leave. and they take out all the good comments where they mention the employees and they blast it out on email to everybody so that they can
Great.
remember, oh my gosh, look, I changed this person's life and I did that. And I think that that's an amazing thing to do. One of the things that our CEO implemented with our patients is something called milestones meetings, because we're a residential treatment center. So typically people are here around 30 days. So it's kind of their graduation ceremony. And we invite all of the staff, the housekeepers, the people that work in the dining hall, maintenance, everyone is there. And he asked the residents two questions. One is something they learned about themselves that they're going to carry on in the future. And the second is anyone, residents, staff that they would like to recognize. And to have patients stand up there and to see the transformation that they've made in 30 days and to have them say, I just absolutely love Johnny that works in the salad bar. He just made my day every day. And the effect that has on the employees is astounding. To hear their name called or to have somebody say that they made a difference in their life, they'll say, oh my gosh, the housekeeper in my lodge was just so sweet every day. The patients themselves will call out different staff members. And I feel like that, I always say, if you're having a bad week, you just make sure you're at that meeting because it reminds you why you're doing this and to carry on.
Why amazing. I really love it because at the end of the day, it's not a protocol that touches people, right? It's our attitude, seeing each other, and the small things, even if you come like distressed or sad to your work and someone sees you and acknowledge you and say a good word for you, it can do so much for your energy and well-being and engagement. So it's amazing how the small thing impactful, right?
Absolutely. One of the things that I do on Tuesdays, I do a gratitude meeting with our patients, and I give them these little cards. And when you open them, they have different positive sayings. And I give them one card to open and to keep for themselves. And I give them one card that they could give to anybody. And I'm carrying the cards around campus, and one of my housekeepers stops me and she goes, is that where people get those cards? And I said, oh, I hand them out to the patients on Tuesday morning and they get to give one away. And she had her name badge on and she said, I have 11 that patients have given me. And she kept them because it meant so much to her. So it's all of those little things that I feel like help with burnout. It's, having somebody brighten your day by giving you a little gratitude card.
And it's amazing. Another thing you said, I love it that you connect the people to the broader picture, right? Because maybe in the day-to-day, it's really distressing and a really stressful environment, and you need to be compassionate to everybody and to have always a positive energy. And sometimes you by yourself don't have it. But once you have this meeting and pausing and really appreciating and listening to how you work impacted the resident people, even that you weren't aware of, saying a small thing to this patient and what the impact he had on him. So it really gives you this energy to continue forward, right? It's amazing how much energy it gives to see the bigger picture beyond the day-to-day tough activity.
Absolutely. And one of the things that my HR director recently implemented was something called stay interviews. It's something I think that every leader in a company should do. And it's just taking the time to meet one-on-one with your employees. We ask them a series of questions. We ask them things like, what motivates you? What do you like most about your job? What do you like least about your job? How do you like to be recognized? And really, it just opens up this conversation. And the funny thing is at the end, one of the questions is, what can I do to support you? And I would tell you that probably 80% of the employees, and we have over 400 employees here, about 80% of them told me, this is supportive to me. Having this time to talk and just be heard and to have somebody listen to me, that's what I want. And so I know a lot of leaders will say, oh, I don't have time to do that. But then I ask them, well, how much time does it take you to hire new people, to go through recruiting, to do interviews? Wouldn't you rather invest that in the people that you already have that are already trained, that are already doing good work, and taking that time out is so important.
It's so true. And, I really believe in like being present with our people, right? And only investing the time to listen. But I think the second thing that people are afraid of, and especially managers, maybe male managers, maybe also women, is, the touchy feeling stuff that if I will now ask my employees what's happening with you, and we start talking about all these emotional experiences and how can I be there with them? How can I help them? What is your advice regarding this challenge part in the workplace and for us as leaders to be in this uncomfortable places sometimes?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question, Karen, because I think people also are like, I don't want to ask them what's not going right, right? Like, what am I going to say? And, I think really just getting comfortable with just listening to what they have to say. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to come back and knowing that you don't have to have the answers. And you could even start the conversation that way. I'm going to ask you some questions and see how you're feeling, and I might not have all the solutions, but I want to give you the space to hear what you have to say. And then that takes it off of you where you don't feel like you have to be able to respond and have all the answers, and just to be able to be in that moment with them. It's all really what they want is to be heard. It's not that they need you to list off 20 things of how you're going to fix this. It's just really listening.
Yes, usually we fix for other the problems because we don't feel comfortable meeting this unpleasant feeling within ourselves, right? So we try to figure out the solution in order not to be in this uncomfortable space and feelings. And I think this something as leaders we need to nourish nowadays, the ability to be present with our own unpleasant feelings, our negative feelings. Sometimes we feel sad, sometimes anxiety, sometimes anger. And it's okay to understand that it's part of being human and the process. And this is why I think it starts within ourselves as leaders, right? Because we can't expect to be with others and to be there for others in their presence if we are not able to be with our presence and to stay with this uncomfortable feelings that is, okay, I'm also angry now. I'm also excited. I have these various emotions. And how can I be there with myself? And I think this is a really important practice, like the ability to practice connecting deeper with ourselves nowadays, especially in this hectic reality or what's going on in the world, right? We're going through a lot. What do you think about the
Oh, I
practice
think
of?
it's so true. I was walking outside the other day, and one of my therapists was outside, and I saw him just standing there, and I said, "Paul, what are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, this is my mindful exercise. If I walk from building to building, I stop and I make myself listen to the birds." And I said, "That is so funny because what I do is I stop and I look at the blue sky. We're in Arizona and it's blue sky all the time, but there's something about it that makes me feel calm and grounded." And so finding those little things that can do that for you, it's amazing. So now I walk outside, I listen for the birds, and then I look at the blue sky. But, I have a scheduling department. We have, many patients here, over 100 patients, and each of them has an individualized schedule every day. So that's a lot to manage. I have a team of schedulers. So their entire day is kind of in an office on a computer. And they've implemented once a day during break, they all walk outside. And so you'll see this group of 5 people walking, and I'll be like, "Hi, guys." And they're like, "Hello." And it changes their day, taking 15 minutes to walk outside. I think there's an Oxford study that happy employees are 13% more productive than unhappy employees. So me encouraging them and not going, "Why are you guys outside?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's great," and encouraging people to do those mindful things. It really makes a difference.
So it's so important to find these micro mindful moments that fuels us with energy, right? For someone is to take a hike around the office, someone to
Yeah.
go to the sun, someone to have a coffee with a friend, whatever works for you. Someone to meditate. Do you have a meditation place in your offices or?
We do not. We do mindfulness meditation classes with our patients, and definitely employees could go to that. I don't see a lot of employees doing it. I think people are pretty busy, but it is something that I talk about a lot, keeping a gratitude journal. It's something that when patients come, it's one of the gifts that we give them when they show up and walk through the door. And it's something that I talk to all of my managers and leaders about all the time. I know that taking the time to find three things you're grateful for every day really shifts your brain for looking for the positives during your day because you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to write three things down, right? So it just really, it changes your neural pathways to start looking for the positive things. So I think that works for patients, and I think it works for employees as well.
Yes, because it's so important, right? Because our brain is required to look for the negative, right? So we need to practice it and to maintain the different part that sees the positive. It's not a natural thing for us to see the positive because we always look what's not working for us, right?
Yeah. When I started the gratitude class where I hand out the little cards, I started that a couple years ago, and they said, Kelly, you should do a class. And I said, well, what would I do a class on? I'm not a therapist. And they said, I don't know, like just pick a subject. And so I picked gratitude. And I said, I'm going to pick gratitude. I'm going to talk about gratitude. I studied a lot about it. And I said, I'm going to ask the patients to talk about things they're grateful for. And I had people go, oh, I don't know if you want to do that. Like, I mean, people are here and they've had so much trauma, and you're asking them, something that they're grateful for. I don't. And it is the most amazing part of my week. I tell them, I just want you to say something that you're grateful for. It could be somebody that supports you at home. It could be the weather outside, just one thing that you can be grateful for. And everybody comes up with these amazing things that they're grateful for. And, even people who are in the hardest point of their life can find one thing that they can find gratitude for. It's amazing how resilient people are.
Yes, that's amazing. And it also shifts the energy, right? Because when one start to practice and share the positive, so it resonates with other people, and it reminds this one, and it reminds you of this thing that happened to him. And it actually shifts our attention to the positive. And yes, even in the worst situation and times, we can find something that gives us the hope.
Absolutely. I mean,
Right?
it really, truly is amazing.
So it's amazing. At the end of the day, I think you talked about it at the beginning, because you're the CEO, so you need to take care of also of efficiency and processes. And in a paradoxical way, it looks like a waste of time now to put energy in this like touchy feelings and soft skills. But I think this is the crucial skills that we need to embrace nowadays, especially in this AI-driven technology, in this hectic reality, in the high speed of light that we walk in, places that we can really touch each other and resonate with each other deeper and connect in a deeper level and really see each other without trying to change or solve the problems, but only being in the same space
Yes.
can give so much energy to each and every one in the space and help us go forward even in traumatic experiences and challenging ones. What do you think?
Oh, I completely agree. I just think it is so worth taking the time to invest in your employees. It really is. And you can't, especially in an industry like behavioral health, you can't expect people to take care of other people if they haven't taken care of themselves. It doesn't work that way. In any business, if you have people who are, in a bad space with themselves, how are they supposed to turn around and give good customer service? So it really doesn't matter what industry you're in. I think that investing in your employees is crucial. And if you invest in your employees, they can take care of your customers or your patients.
Kelly, before we need to wrap up, there's anything that I didn't ask you about your work, about the leadership position when talking to our listeners? What will you offer them to embrace beyond the gratitude perspective and practice that is amazing, all the tools that you gave us in this conversation? What else is needed in order to lead in this uncertain times?
I think that there's just one other thing that I've done for over a year now that I really enjoy. It's called Let's Do Lunch, and we'll pull maybe four different people from different departments, like somebody from maintenance, we'll have one of our drivers, a psychiatrist, and we have lunch with them. And I think that this gives them a voice, which is amazing. I've gotten fantastic ideas from the employees. I had a driver who said, if I pick somebody up late at night and I bring them in, there's no receptionist here late at night. And we have to wait for the nurse to come out. And so I said, oh my gosh, like I wouldn't have known that because I'm not driving a patient in at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So we opened that position and now have a receptionist. So I feel like it gives you an opportunity to know things that you wouldn't know. But the other thing that does is it connects your departments. Somebody will talk about a struggle that they have, and then another person, a different department will be like, oh, I didn't know that. I had never realized that. They see how their departments affect each other and they treat each other differently after spending that time together. So I think that's my last thing that I would say, that I really, instead of, it's great for me and the employee, but it's really great for the employees and the different departments to understand each other's struggles and how they can help each other.
So it's amazing in a few levels, because first of all, it's connect the people from a deeper perspective, right? They really understand the challenges of each department or different jobs description that they need to encounter challenges, and they can really connect with these challenges and on a human level. The second level is the business side, right? Because they understand, like they bring their beginner's mind, right? Because they come in and listen in from a different perspective, and they didn't know anything about this division, but now they see it from their perspective, and they can see things that we can see once we're in this division. And it's like an automatic behavior. We don't think about it because we actually doing it automatically. So they can open our mind, right? And as you said, offer efficient processes that we weren't aware of, and because it's part of the day-to-day and we don't have time to it. So it also have a great impact on the business level. And this says without going on the customers, because once we operate from a connected place, connecting to our mission together, feel engaged and seeing each other, so also our customers are having
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. I mean, that affected how the driver felt because he felt better when he was dropping people off. It definitely affects the patients. So it kind of, it is a roundabout. It affects everyone.
It's a holistic approach, because at the end of the day, everybody enjoys it. And I think a more important thing that we didn't mention, it's actually giving meaning beyond the fact that you're in the industry. There's a lot of meaning, right? In the healthcare, it's a lot of meaning because you see that you transform people's life. They heal, they change, they're healthier. But beyond this, you see the impact that you're doing on your organization. You see that you have a say in this different perspectives that you didn't think that you can impact, and you said something and the process changed. So this is amazing. So it increases our meaning in the day-to-day beyond the core job that we're doing, because we can really bring ourselves fully in different parts of within ourselves that can have a great impact on the company. So I think this is another positive impact.
Absolutely.
Kelly, it was great speaking with you. You really gave us a lot of tools and ways to handle the employees to create a better workplace, a better culture that really engages people, that touched about the gratitude. And I think it's so important because, in the theory, we understand it, but to practice it in the day-to-day, it's really challenging once we feel burnout, when customers are angry at us, right? And we are really stressed out. So as you said, I think it's so important to find these micro mindful moments and really to embrace them in the day-to-day and to create the space for them. As you said, create a space as a team. You can start a meeting by even practicing 2 minutes of mindfulness or meditation, right? Like to calm down, to be in ease and come fresh to the meeting. Otherwise, we all come angry and frustrated and we're not present, and it won't be efficient as it could be, right? So
absolutely.
And as a COO that really talks about efficiency, you say, okay, in order to be efficiency in a contradiction way, we need sometimes to pause and to create the space in order to make better processes and better way of living and acting, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Karen. That's very true.
So Kelly, before we wrap up, you want to say our listeners where they can find you, if they want to approach you?
probably the easiest way is LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, and I definitely encourage anybody that has other ideas. I'm always open. I love hearing, different ideas that people have. I think that's how we all learn and grow. So reaching out to me through LinkedIn is probably the easiest.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed the conversation. You're invited to subscribe to our podcast in order to know when we upload a new episode, and follow us on social media. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care and bye-bye.